Chapter 8 Trolls. Izzy piloted the cruiser across cyberspace toward Azuria, a swampy mess of a cyberspite and the home of the dreaded cyber trolls. Inside, Digit had the kids' undivided attention as he told them about last time he tangled with the trolls. Boom ba boom, boom ba boom, boom ba boom. He pretended to bang on drums. The troll drums began. They knew I was there. That's what the drums meant. They knew I was there. Digit paused and swallowed. Don't stop there, Dig, Jackie blurted out. Then what happened? I had to get out of there before they found me, but I couldn't fly. That green gooey stuff still coated my wings, so I walked on, and I thought I heard something, so I stopped. I listened carefully. Uh-huh. Yes, there it was again. Heavy panting, hot, sticky breath on my neck, breath that smelled like rotting garbage. Digit shuddered. Matt and as Jackie and Izzy leaned in, their eyes as big as cyber moons. I turned around and right behind me, a cyber troll, huge sharp teeth, beady red eyes, slimy green scales. It was the ugliest, scariest creature I ever saw. Then it screeched. Dinner time! The cybercruiser 6 landed with a jolt, causing the kids to scream in fright. The door opened, but no one moved. As long as we don't hear any drums, we're okay, Digit said. Matt took a tentative step out of the cruiser. Come on, he led the group out onto the soft, oozy ground, which splurted green goo with every step. Uzeria was the gooeyest place they had ever seen. A green, slimy film covered the ground. Craggy black rocks jutted out of the dirt, making the whole site look like a graveyard. A heavy green fog filled the air, and the sky, barely visible through the fog, was dark green and drizzly. Izzy moved closer to Inez. Are you scared? She asked. Izzy nodded his head. Me too, Inez reached for his hand. Where do we even start looking for the recharger chair? Matt asked. It's gotta be with King Gunk, Digit shuddered, pointing a shaky wane into the distance. This way. They huddled together in fear and walked on, but it was hard to see anything through the dense green fog. And then it happened. A low boom ba boom. It started quietly, but was growling louder by the cybersecond. Boom ba boom ba boom ba boom ba boom. Digit gulped. I think they know we're here. Too frightened to talk, the kids quickly held hands, forming a long chain. Hey, Jackie whispered. I think I see some kind of light up ahead. Sure enough, the faint glimmer of a yellow light glowed in the distance. We're getting closer, Digit whispered. I don't want to say this, Inez said in a small voice, but do any of you smell rotten garbage? They all stopped walking and slowly looked behind them. At first, all they saw was the fog drifting back and forth through the air, but then dark figures appeared behind it, and they were getting larger. We have company, Matt said. Arg! A troop of cyber trolls broke through the fog, running right at them. Their red eyes gleamed, their sharp yellow teeth gnashed. They whipped their claws around in the air. Get them! Ah! The kids screamed and ran away through the green ooze. Digit, Izzy yelled as he ran with the others. You never told us. How did you escape last time from the trolls? I had this portable portal with me and I just slipped it on, Digit said with a nervous laugh. Sure wish I had one now. The kids and Digit ran through a quick patch of fog and almost didn't see the cliff right in front of them. Watch out, Jackie skidded on the oozy ground, stopping inches away from the edge. A sharply sloping hillside led down to a thick patch of a green fog. It seemed bottomless. We can't go any further. We have to go back, Inez panicked. But they couldn't go back, and the trolls were closing in. There's no way out, Digit yelled. Yes, there is. Matt ripped a large circular leaf off the tree next to them. Follow me. He threw the leaf on the ground next to the edge of the ravine, and jumped on it, riding the leaf down the sloping hillside like a skateboard. Woo-hoo, this is awesome. Come on, Jackie grabbed a leaf, put it down, and launched herself into the ravine. Ah! And as quickly grabbed a leaf and followed sliding down the ravine. Tell me when this is over, she yelled as she disappeared from sight. Hurry, Izzy, Digit motioned to the slope. But Izzy couldn't move. He was too filled with fear. I can't ride that down there. Digit looked back. The trolls were almost upon them. Hop on my back, hurry! Digit said. Izzy took a deep breath and jumped on. Just as the trolls reached for them, Digit jumped off the cliff. He flapped downward and downward through the dense fog. The trolls stopped at the top of the ravine and let out an angry, ear-piercing screech. They beat their chests and jumped up and down like a pack of wild gorillas. Where are we going? Izzy asked, hanging on to Digit. I have no idea, Digit said, but I think we're about to find out. The fog cleared, revealing a field of long, wispy grass growing from a sludgy ground. Where are the others? Izzy asked as he looked around. Psst, Digit, Izzy, over here, Inez called out from nearby. Izzy and Digit ran toward the voice and found Matt, Inez, and Jackie huddled behind a tall clump of grass. Jackie pointed behind them with an excited look on her face. Look, the recharger chair. About 20 yards away sat the first of the purple and green recharger chairs. Green slimy vines hung off it, and mud was caked all over the cushion. Beads of old crusty leaves were scattered on the ground around it. On either side of the chair was the edge to another cliff. A sheer drop below. Come on, let's see if the power orb is in it, Matt said. But Inez grabbed Matt's arm. Hold it, we have to be careful. Those trolls are everywhere. Matt looked around. He didn't see any trolls. In fact, he didn't see anything but the purple and green recharger chair. We're totally safe. Come on. Matt ran to the chair, and the others followed closely behind. As they were about to get to it, Matt said, See, I told you so. Then the ground gave away beneath them. They fell into a deep camouflage pit, landing with a splat in the muddy ground at the bottom. Is everyone okay? Matt asked as they all slowly untangled themselves from one another. I think so. Jackie stood and looked up. Where are we? The circular opening to the pit was far above them. Too far. How do we get out of this one? Suddenly a lot of cyber trolls poked their heads over the pit opening and looked down. We got them, one yelled in a gravely voice. Gunk will be happy. We have his dinner, another one screeched, and even better, now we can nap. The one with the gravely voice said. Soon all became quiet above. The only sounds were of the trolls snoring. I'm not going to be anyone's dinner, Jackie yelled up. Shh, you'll wake them, and they'll want to eat sooner, Inez said to Jackie. We have to get out of here now. If the power orb is up there, I have to get it. I don't know how much longer Serenita can hold on. Izzy tried to climb up the sides of the pit, but got nowhere fast. The walls of the pit were slick and smooth with no footholds. Dig, fly up there and get help, Matt said. Digit motioned to his rotor, which just hung there all bent. My rotor's busted, and it's too far to flap. How are we going to get out of here? Izzy looked from one to the other, hoping someone had the answer, but nobody did. Just then, something popped through one of the walls, inches from Inez's face. Ah, Inez screeched. What is it? Matt came over to get a closer look. A slimy silver snake-like thing slowly curled out of the wall, then inched its way down. It had no eyes and a hooked snout. A cyber hookworm, Izzy said, just as another one popped out of the wall and fell to the ground. It wiggled around until it hooked onto Digit's foot. Yeah, they slittered around until they find things to hook onto, Digit said, trying unsuccessfully to get the worm off of his foot. Ew and double ew, they're totally gross, Jackie said, cringing away. One of the worms stretched up, balancing on its hook end, wavering in front of the kids. The other one joined in. What are they doing? Matt asked. It seems like they're trying to tell us something, Inez said. I speak, Hookworm. Let me listen. Digit leaned close to them. One said. Digit suddenly broke into a huge grin. Hey, you won't believe this. The worms want to help us get out of here. They can hook together and make a rope for us to climb. All I have to do is tell them how long a rope we need. A worm rope, Jackie was still repulsed. Do you have any better ideas, Matt asked, or would you rather be a troll entry? Tell them we'll do it. But how many of them do we need? Inez looked at the length of one worm. And then up to the top of the pit. We need to estimate how many worms will get us to the top of the pit. Matt took one of the cyber hookworms and gently held it up. Let's see how tall the worms are. Hey, look, Jackie said. The walls have 8 colored layers of dirt, evenly spaced all the way up. Matt held the worm against the wall. One worm is as long as 2 layers of dirt. So if there are 8 layers and 2 layers to a worm, then we need 4 cyber hookworms, and as quickly calculated, better make it 5 so the top one can hook around something up. There and hold us, Jackie said. So we need 3 more worms. Digit bent down to the 2 worms. Woot, 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 Digit asked. He listened as one of the worms responded, then turned to the kids. They don't know where any of their friends are. We better dig for them, said Matt, getting started. The kids and Digit dug into the dirt walls. Got one, Izzy held up an extremely wiggly cyber hookworm that hooked onto its hand. Hey, Digit dove into a hole he had made. Hold it. You get back here. Digit wrestled around in the hole and came back out with another cyber hookworm. Got another. That's 4 total. We need 1 more, Digit said. Jackie found the 5th cyberworm, or rather it found Jackie popping out of the dirt and winding around her leg. Ew, she screamed. All the cyber hookworms crawled in the middle of the pit, then hooked themselves together one after the other. They crept up the side of the pit, staying hooked together. Finally, the top worm reached the edge of the pit and slithered out, crawling around until it found a large, sturdy tree root to hook onto. The cyber hookworm rope now stretched from the bottom all the way to the top of the pit and beyond. Let's get out here. Matt grabbed onto the bottom worm and wrapped his legs around it. He slowly pulled himself up the worm rope. It was like climbing a huge, slippery piece of spaghetti. Inez and Izzy were next. They wrapped their small legs around the worms and quickly shimmied all the way up. Even with a busted rotor, Digit was able to get up the worm rope. Jackie went last. She climbed the worm rope, stopping at one of their heads. Sorry I said you were gross before. You can't judge a book by its cover, huh? The cyberworm nodded as Jackie continued climbing. As she pulled herself up onto the ground, she heaved a sigh of relief. We're not safe yet, Jax, Inez said. Look. Jackie turned to see all the cyber trolls of Uzeria taking their before-dinner nap. They were spread out on the ground from the pit to the purple and green charger chair. The kids would have to cross a sea of cyber trolls to get to the chair. Can't anything ever be easy? Izzy groaned. Didge, go get Izzy's ship powered up and meet us here, Matt said. Aye, aye, Captain. Digit saluted and ran back toward the ship, disappearing into the fog. Inez looked at the maze of sleeping cyber trolls. How do we get by them? Carefully, Jackie said. Inez, Izzy, Jackie, and Matt began their trek through the sleeping trolls. They hopped over heads, smelling the terrible troll breath. Yuck, Izzy whispered. Their breath really does smell like rotten garbage. Grow, grow. What's that noise? Izzy asked as he stepped over a troll. The troll's stomachs. They're getting hungry, Matt whispered. As they moved on, one thing became certain. The trolls were extremely hungry. Their stomachs gurgles grew louder and louder, and the trolls began to fidget in their sleep. We have to hurry, Inez whispered. They'll be up soon. But hurrying made them less careful. Izzy tripped on a troll tail, and Inez grabbed him just before he fell onto the troll's head. Finally, They had almost reached the purple and green charger chair. Only one thing stood in their way, but it was the big thing, Gunk the Keen Cybertroll. He was sprawled out on the ground in front of the chair, and he was enormous, the size of 10 Cybertrolls. There seemed to be no way to get by him to check the chair. He was too big to step over, and they couldn't go around him. He was bordered on either side by a cliff. "What now?" Matt whispered. "He's blocking our way. There's a small opening right here." Jackie pointed to a tiny space between Gunk's neck and on the ground. "Someone could squeeze through the gap and get to the chair, but I'm too big to fit through it." "Can't get through that opening either," Matt said. Inez was too big as well. She turned to Izzy. "Can you fit through?" Izzy knew he was small enough to fit, but could he actually do it? He had messed up so many times already. Izzy's stomach began quivering. He wanted to say no. Then he thought about Senorita. He thought about his father, and he knew he had no choice. "I'll try." "You can do it," Inez said. "I know you can." Shaking, Izzy got down on his belly and began to crawl toward the tiny space between Gunk's neck and on the ground. Izzy squeezed under the neck, feeling the steamy, smelly breath coming from the troll's keen, slobbery mouth. Izzy kept telling himself he could do it. He could do it. He crawled on the thick hairs from Gunk's chin, poking into Izzy's back. "Don't wake up. Please don't wake up," Izzy thought as he continued. Just as Izzy was almost through the opening, Gert, Gunk turned over in his sleep. The kids lost sight of Izzy. It looked as if he had been crushed. "Izzy," the kids whispered, but Izzy was okay. He made it to the other side, rolling out the way back in the nick of time before flattening like a cyber pancake. Izzy knelt down next to the purple and green recharger chair. He carefully slid his hand under the chair cushion. "Is it there?" Matt whispered. Izzy couldn't believe it. "No, it's not here." "Oh man, wrong chair," Jackie said, a bit too loudly. Suddenly all the trolls' pointy ears perked up and the trolls woke up, Gunk included. He got to his feet and towered over them. Izzy quickly ran back around Gunk to the others. "Arg!" Gunk cried. "Oh hey Gunk, long time no see." We were just in the area, and Matt stammered, but was interrupted by another Gunk growl, this one louder and angrier. "Arg! Dinner time, Gunk," the screechy troll screamed. The other trolls moved in on all sides. Matt, Jackie, Izzy, and Inez had nowhere to run. They were totally surrounded by trolls. Suddenly, the Cybercruiser 6 hovered right over them, the cyber hookworm rope hanging down from it. Digit poked his head out. "The Dig to the rescue with a little help from my wiggly pals. Grab on." Just as all the trolls jumped at them, the kids grabbed onto the cyber hookworm and were lifted to safety. The cruiser sped away, the kids dangling below the ship. Matt waved down at the trolls. "I'd rather see ya than be ya." "Arg, arg, arg," the trolls screamed at the top of their troll lungs. They beat on the black rocks which burst into dust, but there was nothing they could do. Their meal had flown away. Digit landed the cruiser far away from the trolls to let the cyber hookworms slither back home. "Thanks for everything," Inez said to the worms. Jackie bent over and hugged them. "You saved us twice." And with that, the cyber hookworms waved their tails, slithered down a hole, and were gone. "I can't believe the orb wasn't there." Izzy shook his head. "Don't get down, Izzy. We have 2 more to check," Inez said. "We have to go fast. I don't know how much longer Senorita can hold on." "Where's the next recharger chair?" Matt asked. Digit checked the list. "Oh man, you think the trolls were bad?" Next recharger chair was bought by Zorgan. "Zorgan? Tell me you didn't just say Zorgan," Jackie moaned. "I wish I didn't," Digit groaned. Next stop, Mount Doom. Izzy piloted the cruiser off. No one noticed the Grim Reaper nearby, hiding behind a dark cloud. Hacker, Buzz, and Delete watched the cruiser fly off. Boss? What are we doing again?" Buzz asked. "Letting those kids do the dirty work for us?" Hacker grabbed the steering wheel and turned it sharply, sending Buzz and Delete crashing to the floor. "They'll eventually find the power orb." and then I'll take it. Simple. We just need to follow them," Hacker said with a nasty smile.